welcome back to my channel, the best place to be wherever you are on your wealth journey right now. Now, it may be that your wealth journey has been impacted recently by the coronavirus crisis. I know mine certainly has. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the government's Self-Employment Income Support Scheme, SEISS. I'm going to cover what exactly it is, who can apply for it and how you can go about doing that. So stay tuned for that. But first of all, I will say if you are interested in more videos about personal finance, mindset and wealth creation, then do hit the subscribe button just underneath this video for plenty more videos just like this one. So the government's Self-Employed Income Support Scheme then, what exactly is it? Well, back at the beginning of the coronavirus crisis, the government came out and agreed to help employed people with up to 80% of their earnings, they said, that they would have lost between the 3 months from the 1st of March to the 31st of May. The self-employed people then said, well, hold on a second, what about us? Because we have legitimate businesses that we're running and we can't do it. We can't keep going because of the crisis, and we don't think it's fair that you're only helping employed people. So on the 23rd of March, the government came out and said, okay, self-employed, we will also help you and we will cover 80% of your lost earnings from the same period, 1st of March to the 31st of May, and we will cap this at £2,500 per month. So the maximum grant that you can get under the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme is £7,500. Now the scheme went live last Wednesday, that's the 13th of May, and those of us that were eligible should have received a letter just like this one in the post. So have a look out for your letter, hopefully you will have received one. Now something to note about the SEISS is that it is a grant, so you don't have to pay it back, okay? It's not a loan, it's a grant, so the government are giving you the money. However, it is taxable, so it's going to be taxable at your usual tax rate, and it's subject to Class 4 national insurance contributions as well. So you will be paying something on the money that you're getting, okay? Edit. Two other things to note as well about the scheme are, number one, if you are claiming universal credit at the moment, then if you claim the grant, then it won't have impact on your previous claims that you've made, but it may well impact upcoming claims that you're making on universal credit, because you need to declare your income, and obviously this grant is classed as income for you. So just be aware that you will have to do that, and it may impact a claim that you make for universal credit in the future. The second thing to note is that when we're looking at self-employed income here, HMRC only look at your earned income from self-employment. They don't look at your land and property pages. So if you are an investor, if you've got properties in the background, then HMRC won't look at those in order to assess whether or not you can make the claim. Okay. So who can apply for the grant? Well, you need to fulfil the following 5 criteria, and you need to fulfil all 5 of the criteria in order to be eligible to apply. So the 5 criteria are these. Number 1, you need to make sure that your business, whatever it is that you're running, has been adversely impacted by the coronavirus crisis. Now, obviously, you will know whether your business has been impacted by the crisis, okay? When you're actually applying for the grant, it just says to you, there's a little form and it says, have you been adversely affected? And you tick yes, and that's basically it. Now, I'm not sure how exactly they're going to police that, but at the moment, that's what you do. You just tick the box that says, yes, I have been. And obviously, you're only going to be applying for the grant if you have been adversely impacted. Number 2 is that your trading profits are £50,000 or less. Now, HMRC on the whole will take your 2018 to 2019 tax return and have a look at that, and if your profits were less than 50,000, then potentially you would be eligible. If that's not the case, then they will actually go back a bit further and average the last 3 years' earnings and have a look at the last 3 years' tax returns and see what your average is. And if the average over the 3 years is less than 50,000, then you should still be eligible to get the grant. Number 3, you need to be eligible as a sole trader or a partnership, but not a limited company. Okay, so limited companies cannot apply for this grant. This is personal, individual, sole traders and partnerships. Okay, so I do want to dive a little bit deeper into the self-employed thing because I have been getting a few questions about this. Now, let's imagine that you run a trade. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that you're a cleaner. And let's say that you're a cleaner, you're self-employed and you're going into people's homes. Okay, now, if you've been doing that and people are paying you, obviously, hopefully you've been declaring that to HMRC, in which case you would be eligible because you are a sole trader. You are going into someone's home as a sole trader and you are doing that work for yourself, okay? Now let's imagine that you are also cleaning and you go out, and let's imagine that you've had some business cards printed and you've decided to call yourself Mrs. Mop, and you go around telling everybody that you're Mrs. Mop, okay, and you're still going into their homes, you're still doing the cleaning, and they're still paying you in the normal way. Well, in that scenario, you are still self-employed as a sole trader, okay? Nothing has changed there. Just because you're calling yourself Mrs. Mop doesn't mean that you have got a company. The only time that you would not be eligible is if you actually set up your company with Companies House. So if you've been to Companies House, you've set up your company and it's got a limited after the name. So for example, Mrs. Mop Limited, and you have a limited company number, then you would not be eligible to get the grant. But if you're just a normal person running your normal business affairs as an individual, then you would be eligible for the grant. What about a partnership then? Let's imagine that you're running your business, whatever it is, with your partner. It might be your husband, wife, life partner, whoever it might be, and you're running the business with them. Whether or not you can claim would very much depend on how you split your profits at the end of the year. So let's say, for example, you have £90,000 in trading profits for the year, and let's imagine that you split it where one person gets 30% of the share and the other person gets 70% of the share. In this example, the 70% shareholder would not be eligible to get the grant because they'd be earning more than 50,000. But the person that got the 30%, they would be eligible because they are under the 50,000 benchmark. Okay, now obviously if you had a £90,000 turnover between you and you split it 50-50, then technically you would both be eligible as individuals to get the grant. Okay. Criteria number 4, you need to have submitted a 2018 to 2019 tax return to HMRC, and you should have done that on or before the 23rd of April this year, 2020. Okay, now thinking about this, normally we would have to have done that by the 31st of January, so hopefully you did get your tax return in time, and the government did extend it to the 23rd of April, so just in case you were running a little bit late on that, you did have a little bit of extra time. However, if you didn't submit a 2018 to 2019 tax return, whether it was on time or not, or you only started your self-employment this year in 2020, then I'm afraid you would not be eligible for the grant. The 5th requirement to get the grant is that you need to be earning more from your self-employed income than from any other non-trading income. So let's say, for example, you're doing some cleaning, going back to my previous example, you're doing some cleaning in the week, and then let's say as well that you've got a weekend job where you work for a supermarket and they pay you PAYE to work your supermarket job. Now HMRC will have a look and say that if your supermarket job is earning you more than your self-employed income, in this example as a cleaner, then you would not be eligible for the grant. So your self-employed income needs to be more than what you are earning anywhere else. So hopefully that makes it a little bit clearer on whether or not you can apply for the grant. So how exactly do we go about applying for it then? Well, we want to first of all go to the government's website, which is this one just underneath here. And I will put the link to it in the description of this video as well, so you can actually just click on the link and go there. But if you wanted to type it out, it's this long one along the bottom here. Now, when you go to the website to apply for the grant, you're going to need 3 things. The first thing you're going to need is your UTR number, your unique taxpayer reference. Now, this will be on any previous documentation that you've had through from HMRC. It will be on the letter that you received. So if you got one of these in the post, then it will be at the top here, UTR number, it says, and it'll be 10 digits. Okay, so it'll be on there or on any other documentation that you've received from HMRC. The second thing you need is your national insurance number. So hopefully you know that. Again, it's on the sheet. So when you received this letter in the post, it was also on there as well. But again, that will be on any other documentation that you've had from HMRC, or you might just be able to remember it. Okay. The third thing you need is your government gateway ID and password. Now, you would normally use those if you're submitting a tax return online. So hopefully you've got those somewhere. But if you don't have a government gateway ID, don't worry, all is not lost. You can actually apply for one as part of the process of applying for this particular grant. So don't worry about that. Now, if you are applying for new government gateway ID, you're going to need either your passport or your driving licence as well in order to apply for those. Okay, so we pop onto the government website and we scroll down. We can read this information if we want to. We want to go to the section that says check if you're eligible to claim. And you can see there's a green button here, and if we hit the green button, we get taken to this page. It says enter your UTR number. So get your UTR, your unique taxpayer reference, the 10-digit one, and pop it in there. And if we do that, we then get brought forward to our national insurance number page. So again, pop your national insurance number in the box here. So again, we hit the button and it will tell us immediately whether or not we're eligible to make a claim. Now, if you feel that you are eligible, but it says that you're not eligible, you can dispute this with HMRC. Might take you a little while to do it, but it will be worth it, certainly if you feel that you should be able to make a claim. If, like me, you got the page saying yes, you're eligible, then hit continue and you'll be asked for your Government Gateway login details. And it's at this point that you can set up your Government Gateway ID if you haven't already got one. Once you've got your Government Gateway details, you sign in and they will text you a little code to say that you are who you say you are. So you pop the code in the box here and then it will tell you immediately how much you are eligible to claim. It will also ask you for some bank details, so make sure you've got those handy for the account that you want the money to be paid into. Now, the government say it should take 6 working days for them to pay out the grant, and however, I applied for mine on Friday the 15th of May and the money hit my account yesterday, Wednesday the 20th, way faster than I was expecting. So it is dead easy to claim. Do let me know how you get on with it in the comments underneath this video and give me a thumbs up underneath if you enjoyed this video. In the meantime, do watch these 2 videos over here because they will definitely help you on your wealth journey. And until next time, guys, do stay safe and I will see you in the next one.